Alright, you masters, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today I'm going to talk about emergency packages to put in your home. Oh, well, that's a good start. Alright, but before we start, if you're interested in survival courses in Belgium, will be a link to my website for survival courses in Belgium, and also a link to my book called Bloody Crosses. It's a detective story, it's in Dutch, so if you're interested, take a look, I would say. Alright, your boy here has been in the news recently for interviews about emergency packages uh, since because in Belgium there has been they started to put on a commission to give advice to citizens to build emergency packages in home to be more uh, how do you say this in English, that you're more resistant against big disasters. So this is one of the boxes that I set to make in the news, and I'm going to talk about this. And the reason why this box is different than most of my other preps is this box is designed for civilians. And what do I mean by that? For civilians, for things that they can just buy in just regular camping stores or flea markets, or just what an average Belgian person can afford and find in their genuine area in shops, this and that. So that's the important distinguish between what a prepper should have in his emergency package and what a civilian should have. So this is what in my opinion, every Belgian civilian or family should have at least in their home. So we're going to open this. Uh, this package looks a little bit big, but you will see that everything inside of it is essential. Uh, my philosophy is you always have to work from the rule of three. We all know the 3 minutes without air, 3 days, 3 hours without uh, fitting clothing, protection against cold, heat, and other weather circumstances, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. So that is the reason why what's inside of this box to protect you against yourself. It's not going to be in a certain uh, way that I'm going to tell this, but I'm just going to grab what's inside of the box and say why you should have this inside of your box and store it into your house. So let's get started. The first thing that I would say is a woolen blanket, because I've seen some other advice given through other preppers in Belgium that they should have emergency blankets inside of their an emergency package, but I believe always have a woolen blanket. The reason why is a woolen blanket. It has several benefits. First of all, it keeps you warm and snuggly, and because wool keeps 80% of its insulation value even when it's soaking wet. So even after a flood, when you're soaking wet, it can still help you getting warm, while it can vaporize through the material inside of it. So that's something that helped me getting through a night where during a hike we were flooded, and through the night I almost got hypothermia if it was not for a woolen blanket. So woolen blankets are one of the best things, and it's also more sturdy material than a emergency blanket, which can rip easily. And another thing is you can sit close to a fire with a woolen blanket, then it will not get scorched or melt or starts to get holes. In unlike emergency blankets or other um, how do you say this, unnatural materials that are made out of plastic materials. So woolen blanket is, in my opinion, one of the best survival uh, things to keep you warm. So a woolen blanket certainly. Uh, of course, the shamak. I will not tell you about everything you can do with the shamak. Just a few to think of. Give extra warmth for your head as an improvised protection against for your breathing system. You can use it to do as a sling for a broken arm. You can stop bleeding with it. You can rub it over across grass in the morning to get the dew from, and put it into a drinking container so you will have fresh water to drink. And there are many an improvised backpack to perhaps take all this stuff with you as an improvised backpack if you have to bug out for some reason. So a shamak, I made a video about this. There are 50 survival uses for a shamak, which is just a cotton square uh, piece of cloth. So yeah, I would say look into my video about this and you will know what I mean. All right, what do we got next? A map of your general area. This could be very handy because yeah, if for some reason the electricity is not working, you get no signal, the internet is down, and you need to find certain places or natural resources around your place immediately area. Just a map. You can also put on evacuation routes, interesting spots that can be helpful for your other family if they are home and they need to find the bug out location. So a paper map is always handy to have with you. Uh, all right, this is one of the more important ones, I think, and yeah, there is a lot of talk about this here in Belgium because the a store where I go, full of military surplus store where I go to, there are a list of hundreds of people that waiting to get one of these emergency radios, and that's a very good thing because emergency radios are one of the best things to put in your emergency package because first of all this kind of model is a radio, it's a world radio, so with this I have a long range to listen to, so I can not only get information from Belgium but also from Netherlands, France, England, even Spain and Germany. So this I can get a lot of information that could be helpful because if there is disinformation in Belgium, I can and try to evaluate it with other sources from other countries to see if it's true. So that's a very good thing. Another thing is it has several settings of lamps. It has also a big lamp. It has a sensor that could put the lamp on if you walk through it by it. So it's also an alarm system in a way, and it has a crank system. So you can crank it up, listen to the radio, put the lamp on without the need of replaceable batteries, and you can also use it as a power bank to load up, to charge up some smaller devices like lamps or your cell phone. So yeah, in emergency situation where there is a blackout for a longer period of time, this could be very handy, or to get at least through the night when the blackout is being repaired of the electricity network, or when the blackout is a little bit longer. So also for entertainment, information. So emergency radio, you should definitely get that one into your bug bag. Um, uh, Emergency package. Sorry, it's a habit. All right. Next thing I would say is tea light candles. This is a Yuko lantern. I made a video about this. Why I think this is a very good one. First of all, uh, in case there is a power outage, a blackout, or long-term situation, you don't always have time, or the perhaps some people don't have the mobility to always charge this up if they go all night with putting the lamp on. So in that case, a tea light candle could be very handy to set up by in one room, and it can help. Another thing you can do with this, and I made a video about this recently, is you can use, and if there is a tea light candle burning inside of this, it will create heat. So in a small place, it can help up heat up the room. And if it's really cold, oh, I'm going to put this down. If it's really cold, you can take your woolen blanket, put it around you with the tea light candle beneath it, and I've showed this experiment in this video about how I can raise the temperature from 10 to around 20 degrees Celsius with just a woolen blanket to warm up my fingers, my face, and other soft spots when it's really cold. So that's a way to warm you up with only a tea light candle. So I would say look into that video. Another thing you can do is if you have a mug, this has a flat head around it, you can put a mug up on top of it, and it can keep drinks warm like coffee or tea or hot cocoa. And I can fit around 5 tea light candles inside of this. So 5 tea light candles can get you through a couple of nights to perhaps getting through it. Another thing you can do is you can use the tea light candles to also start a fire. So you only need one snip of a lighter or one match to put on a tea light candle, and that way you can use that tea light candle to make a bigger fire with the kindle that you have. So it also is very cheap. The lantern is a little bit more pricey, but If you get one of those cheap lanterns from the stores, that's the same thing, but much cheaper. And yeah, tea light candles are very cheap. So that's everything you can do with the tea light candles. Yeah, let's go to the next one. All right, that is a pouch with some extra cash, also with a USB stick. Yeah, extra cash. Explaining, in case the electricity network is down or the banks are holding you from withdrawing more money, which we saw increase during the 2008 bank crisis. So always have some extra cash on hand so you can pay at least small stuff till the grid system is back to operational. Also, uh, excuse me, a USB stick with your personal information and copy of official documents. We're talking about your passport. We're talking about a copy of your insurances, of your deeds of your homes, of your car. Also, a list of prescription medication that you need, or a list of allergies for certain things that you have, or for certain medicines that you can. If you have to go to the hospital, you can give this, and they can read it that you what you're allergic to, or what kind of medication you're on, or you need to. So that's very handy to have that. uh, and also perhaps some extra information, perhaps a copy of a survival book that is in an ebook form or something. So that's all also important. Family pictures could be very handy to as a sort of support moral, or in case during a flood or a earthquake or a fire, your house get burned down or damaged, and your photo albums are all destroyed, or your electrical device. But at least you will have a USB stick with the families, with the pictures of your family, your friends, the pictures that you want to hold, so to say. All right. Next thing I would say is there's so much. Oh wait, this one is an interesting one. I would say a way to start a fire. So there are two ways to start a fire here. Each one has their pros and cons. A lighter, of course, but a lighter needs fuel, and it can also not always work. Like you can see, this one is still full, but it's not that optimal flame, perhaps because I used this a little bit too much, and it cannot work when it's wet or some other damage. Matches, these are store matches, so these can even burn when you put them into a full glass of water and take them out. So, but if you have regular matches, they can degrade over a long time if you don't use this, or they can break, or they can be of lesser quality. But that's also the reason why I say if you have a fire, always have one main easy way to make a fire, and always have a backup. In this case, this is a ferro rod that you can make a fire with, and if you put in a multi-tool like this, you can just start to make a fire with it. And if you have flammable material around, you can just build a fire like that. So a multi-tool is also very important to always have, because you can do so many small tasks with this, uh, and I never leave the house without this one. So always put a small multi-tool of good quality inside of this. Let's see, what else do we got here? We got some paper tissues, just in case you don't have any toilet paper. We all saw through the COVID that toilet paper was very short, so toilet paper can be handy to something to clean, to wipe your nose, to stop bleeding, to wipe your butt. So yeah, you can never go wrong with a few packages of these paper tissues. Right, we got some water tablets. These are purification tablets, and I also, I'm going to take this out, have a commercial water filter. This is a water filter with a screw that you can put onto regular soda or water bottles, or you can use one of these plastic bottles, plastic bags. And what you can do is you can fill this up with water that you came from outside, rainwater water, and you can squeeze it into your water container, or you can drink it directly from the source. But if you want, and the problem is this cannot filter out viruses. It can filter out bacteria, but if there is a problem like an epidemic or something else where there is a potential virus going on, this cannot help you with. Then I would say put some extra purification tablets inside of this, because the chloride inside of this will kill also viruses. So always have one commercial filter to squeeze into a container, and have a package of chlorine tablets, I would say. So that way you're sure for everything. Right. Another thing I would say, I will keep the food for last. So another thing I would say is, this is a bar of soap. This is Marseille soap, but there is also Le Chasse soap, and this is soap with glycerin. And what you can do this is not only for cleaning yourself, washing yourself during a time where perhaps you cannot go to the store to get some fancy soaps or whatever, but you can also use this to washing your clothes. So in case your washing machine does not work, you can use this to get stains out of your clothing with an old-time improvised washing machine, like a bucket, and start to washing through it, or use something improvised as one of those washing boards. So yeah, a piece of soap can never hurt, especially soap with glycerin that you can use for washing your body and your clothing during a disaster scenario. Um, all right, we're almost there. Now we're getting to the first aid. I would always advise to put some Israeli bandages inside of your an emergency package, because this is between a tourniquet and a pressure bandage. So it's something easy to do. It works very efficient. Most militaries in the world use this. So I would say buy one of these. Try to learn with it how to use it, and put it inside of your emergency package. Another thing we can do is just some regular first aid, I would say. These are just some gauches, pressure bandages, some alcohol swipes, some tapes, some chest seals, some burning gel. Just a very small put together first aid kit. And also a few medication. If you have prescription medication that you have extra, put it in. Also, some painkillers, some activated charcoal could be very handy. And yeah, also some in case there is a nuclear disaster, some iodium, iodium tablets. So this is in case of a nuclear disaster. If you are from Belgium, you can go to your local pharmacy and get one package on your name free from the government. So yeah, I would say advice to you to do that, to get your free package, because when there is a nuclear disaster and everyone is going to the store at the same time, it will running out very soon. Even at these days now, because of the war in Ukraine, these things are just very hard to get officially. So I would say get one while you still can. Your iodure, the potassium, kalium iodide, kalium iodide. I don't know how you say this in English, so I say all the names around this. So yeah, get one of your iodine tablets. All right, just a mask. This is one a more sturdy mask in case there is perhaps dust, epidemic, or somebody else in the house is sick and they need to be quarantined. You can just put it on, and it closes very good up on the outside. So yeah, this is one of the better ones. Don't cheap out on these masks. All right, so these are just more of the tools. Now we're getting to, I would say, the foods. And for food, I would say just I would say put two things in your food. You need to get calories, and you need to get um, how do you say this? Food supplements, not supplements, but um, the nourishment, like vitamins, minerals, all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I would say is put some multivitamins inside of your emergency package, because if you have the foods like put in some long-lasting food that cannot go bad very quickly, like rice, pasta, some yeah, there are so many things, but I'm thinking about what most people have in their pantry at the normal time, and that's usually rice and pasta. So if you are mostly most people have calories inside of their house, and for the supplements they usually get some fresh food like vegetables. But if vegetables are not able to be found in the supermarkets because of disaster reasons, I would say put in some uh, multivitamins inside of it, so that way you can supplement if you only do it on the base of uh, calorie kind of diet. For example, if you have a package of rice, these contain a lot of calories, are very cheap and good to store for a long time. But if you can't find the herbs outside into plants or from other food sources or from meat and organ meat for getting your minerals and vitamins, multivitamins to supplement you. By the way, this is not a replacement for your vitamins, it is a supplement. So you cannot only survive on these, by the way. Um, I wanted to make sure that because that's a mistake that a lot of people make. Next thing I would say is a pot of honey. And I'm talking about real honey, not the sugary fake stuff from the store. This can cost a lot of more, but real honey can last forever. It can used as a antibiotic cream, protective layer on wounds. It can help for people with diabetic, and it's also something that is very sweet to give more taste to certain food stuff, so you don't get food fatigue, so to say. Food fatigue is when you eat days or weeks on the end on the same thing, the same just eating weeks long the same thing. Even if you're really hungry, your body starts to feel getting sick about it, and that can be bad. So something sweet like honey can be helping for that, and it's also contain a lot of calories. With this pot, you can last for a very long time. So a real pot of honey, I would say, get it. That is a bottle with alcohol. The higher, the better, because this alcohol should be multifunctional. It should not. It should be used, be able to be used as to how do you say this, to sterilize wounds. So that's a good way to sterilize perhaps some equipment that you're going to use, perhaps some surgical or first aid kind of materials that you can clean it by using the alcohol, or just as a way uh, to get the spirits a little bit up as a small victory drink at the end of the week, or in case a very emergency when somebody is an alcoholic in your family and they cannot find alcohol anywhere. At least you can give them a little fix so they can get through the day. I do not recommend it, but people with alcohol withdrawal syndromes can be very dangerous during disaster scenarios. And yeah, in the worst case scenario, you have to give them a little fix so they will not do something that will get them killed. I know this is controversial, but it's a part of life, and in Belgium there are a lot of alcoholics. Another thing is salt. I would say get some salt inside with you, because during a summertime when you sweat a lot, and especially during a disaster scenario where you sweat a lot and you cannot get the right minerals, you can use the salt to balance your electrolytes by profusely sweating or doing more labor during a hot day than you would during a not disaster time, I would say. All right. For food, I would say that food you can choose yourself. In my opinion, like I said, you can take your bag of rice, your bag of pasta, and you can get a long time with it in with some supplements. But I would say if you have the money for it, you can take one of these, some of these MREs or emergency rations. There are several types of emergency rations. This one contains all the nutrients that you need and calories for one day for one person. You can store this for more than 20 years. It's in a good solid package, so bugs cannot get to it. And yeah, it's tasting neutral, so it's not tasting bad, and it's also not tasting too good, to be honest, but it will keep you alive. There are some emergency rations. These are some with taste of chocolate. These are with peanut butter. And to be sure, I also took some emergency rations with extra vitamins, multivitamins inside of these. So yeah, get a little bit of everything so you can don't get food fatigue, or you can change up a little bit. And yeah, it is what I would say that every Belgian civilian or family should have in their home in their emergency package. So I know this, I can go hours and hours on more specific details, but like I said, that is more for the average Joe that knows nothing about survival, and with this, they can survive for at least, in my opinion, weeks to a month with the stuff that they got inside of these. So, yeah. But if you want to learn more, go to my survival courses on the website in the description down there. If you got any other ideas that I perhaps forgot, and I'm talking about ideas for the average Joe normal family that is normally not occupied with survival ideas or preparedness. So please let me know in the comments. Perhaps I can learn something from it. I'm always eager for that. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and see you in the next video. Cheers.